What's good, people? We got another episode of Ask FP. I got a lot of questions. It's time to jump into that first one. We got sports topic. One of the most consistent people asking FP, I appreciate you, says, what NBA big trade do you think will happen before the deadline? I think Reggie Jackson, Oklahoma City, probably gets traded, and I think there is a decent chance Greg Monroe gets traded, especially now with Brandon Jennings down for the remainder of the season with a torn Achilles. So those are probably the two biggest trades, and there might be something else big. Like, I wouldn't even be shocked if the Bulls traded Taj Gibson, which I think would be, oh my God, it would scare me because we already ain't playing no defense. So I don't know. Next up, we got Nightwing. He says, when are you going to make the NBA draft 2015? I know what he meant. Talking about the draft class. It's coming, but I'm not going to do it, and like I told you guys, until I finish with what I'm doing right now, which is churning out this Legends roster. So if you guys see my plight, you see what I'm saying. When I try to be consistent or whatever and stick to a certain thing, but you got, the more subscribers you get, the more people are going to like certain things. So then some people are asking for this, others are asking for that. It's tough, but I got to stick to one thing. The Spearman says, is Westbrook the most talented point guard in the NBA? He has such desire to win. Could he be better than KD or Westbrook? I think that Westbrook is the most talented point guard in the NBA. I think, if you just group everything together, athleticism, he's a good passer when he wants to pass. Explosion, his jump shot is not like pure like Stephen Curry. But then again, Stephen Curry doesn't defend like Westbrook, and he don't finish at the basket like Westbrook. But I don't think he'll ever be better than Kevin Durant, though. Dante says, how do you feel about the rumors of TNT giving Charles Barkley the boot for Kobe Bryant for inside the NBA? I don't think it's that they would give him the boot. I think it'd be something like maybe he wouldn't renew his contract. It might be something mutual or on Charles Barkley's side. But I did hear him rumor about Kobe Bryant, but it was totally not based on anything Kobe Bryant said. It was someone speculating. There's a difference between speculation and a rumor. Speculation is a person like me, a journalist, that is saying, hey, this would be cool. A rumor is something comes from somebody or their camp. This didn't come from Kobe's camp. So Kyrie Wan says, what do you think of Portland this year? And do you think Golden State will stay at their current level of play? I think Portland is a good team, especially with LaMarcus Aldridge choosing to put off a thumb surgery. I think they are excellent on defense, which is something that they hadn't always been. Lillard has gotten better in that area. Still feels like they're missing a wing scorer, though, a consistent wing scorer. Golden State, it's going to be difficult for Golden State to stay at their level of play. But they've been doing it for a long time. Unless they hit a wall or lose motivation, I think they'll be okay. Kyrie Wan says, have you ever considered doing a Call of Duty gameplay video? I have, and I believe I've done a couple on the channel. You'd have to search in the annals of the channel history, but I've done a couple non-sports games. I used to have something I call Halftime Show, where I would just like do non-sports stuff. It was like, basically taking a break from sports. I believe it or not, there's some non-sports games that I actually do like. I just don't really have the time. I had a non-sports channel, like a Let's Play channel. It's still up. I just haven't done anything with it because time span, I can only be in one place at one time, so it's kind of hard. So Sports Talk says, how long before the Phillies are a playoff caliber team again? It's hard to tell. We got to see what happens with Cole Hamels, if they move him, what kind of prospects they get for him. Philly's whole everything was built around, the Cole Hamels, the Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, and all of those guys have aged or moved on or whatever. So we got to see what happens with the prospects, how quickly they can turn things around. AJ Harris in NBA 2K16 said, he says, in the NBA 2K16, I would love if they added the ability to relocate a team in my GM, my league, kind of like in Madden. My thoughts. I agree. I think that would be awesome. But a lot of these companies like the NFL, it's not 2K and it's not EA, but like the NFL and the NBA, they're real particular about that sort of thing because they feel that it dilutes their brand a bit. So if the NBA says we only want our teams because we want every time you play the game you'd be advertising our teams, that's why that kind of stuff sometimes is tricky to get done. Brandon Garcia says, are you planning to make a How to Create Legends series? By the way, love the Legends series. Thank you. I actually, yesterday, I was in the bathroom. Yep, I was in the bathroom. And I do a lot of thinking when I'm in the bathroom sometimes. So I was in the bathroom, and I said, you know what would be kind of cool? Because I get a lot of Xbox users, because, of course, my roster is on PS4. I get a lot of Xbox users saying, you know, I would love it if you make this roster on Xbox. Well, obviously, I'm not going to go make 150 guys on Xbox. But I could do a quick little series that shows, like, how to create the most popular legends. Maybe. Patch to the Super Bowl, a.k.a. the Great Patriot, says, which player had more potential before off-the-court stuff, Marbury or Francis? I would say Steve Francis. Both great, very good young players, very good players when they were in the league. But Steve Francis was a good rebounder. He was a good defender. Both of them were explosive scorers. I think Francis was a little more athletic and a little bit more able to explode near the basket. So I would say Steve Francis. Patch to the Super Bowl. The Great Patriot again says, every year a guy gets an overpaid deal in free agency. Who do you think that'll be this year? I'm assuming. I guess he's talking about the NBA. So I'm gonna take it as if you're talking about the NBA. I think I just actually wrote an article on this a couple days ago. I really think that Greg Monroe is about to get overpaid. I think Greg Monroe is a nice player. He's a nice player. But is he a max player? I don't think so. But I think he's about to get max money because there are not a lot of max type guys available this year in the free agency, and especially not big guys. And I think he's going to cash in and get a little bit more than he's supposed to. The Great Patriot again says, you think bringing back the skills challenge to the Pro Bowl should improve it? I do. I really think that would be something that would be cool. I think the Pro Bowl should go back after the Super Bowl, though, because to totally just, come on. We knew no Patriots and no Seahawks are going to be in the Pro Bowl, and that's going to happen. It's going to be their case all the time. I think the Pro Bowl should be after the Super Bowl again. To me, it was at its most popular then, so whatever. Simon Torvey Sunderland, another one of the, so is the Great Patriot, but another one of the consistent Ask FPers, says, what do you consider to be the biggest choke in NBA playoff history? Well, I think that would be easy. I think it was 93, 94 season, number 1 seed, Denver, when number 1 seed Seattle Supersonics, really good team, lost to the number 8 seed, the Denver Nuggets. It was the first time it ever happened. Now, it's happened since then, but, man, that was a pretty big choke there. It was a pretty big choke. Dallas doing it against Golden State was pretty big, too. Simon Torvey Sunderland also says, which player in NBA history do you consider to be the biggest failed talent? Well, he want to know about flops, failed talent. Everybody who ain't did what they supposed to do. Biggest failed talent. Probably between Greg Oden, Chris Washburn. Look him up. I know y'all like, who? Chris Washburn. Look it up. Number 2 pick overall. It ain't work out. It just didn't work out. He has some problems. So there's that. Actually, his son, though, is playing college basketball now. Evan F. says, what percent would you give Kevin Durant joining the Wizards in 2016? I think, me personally, I'm about 65-70%. I'm about 50-50. 50-50 that he joins the Wizards. I think there's definitely a lot there that he would want to do. But you know what made me think he might not? Under Armour offered him all that money, and he turned him down. Under Armour is based in the D.C. area. He turned it down. So I don't know. But I'm 50-50. Evan F. says, are the Wilpons ruining the Mets? No, I don't think they're ruining the Mets. Baseball is tough, man. A team or an organization can catch a bad one and hit a bad run, and it can last decades, man. Baseball is tough. To me, in my personal opinion, baseball is the toughest sport for an organization to consistently field a winner. And I don't think you can blame it on the ownership, the management, anything like that. I think it's just tough. Evan F. also says, can Ryan Tannehill become a top 5 or top 10 quarterback? What prospects should the Fins be eyeing during the draft or combine? I definitely think he can become a top 10 quarterback. I don't know about top 5. I've already seen how much he's grown. But what I think he needs is another receiver. Jarvis Landry looked pretty good this year, but I'm looking at a guy like Kevin White for West Virginia. You know, I think that he would be a really good complement to Jarvis Landry in the wide receiving corps. They've already improved the offensive line. I think it's time to get him some weapons now. Dante says, do you think that Kobe will be 100% after he has fully recovered from his rotator cuff tear? Did this injury surprise you? It didn't surprise me. I mean, Kobe is 106. So, I mean, you know, I didn't surprise me. Will he be his 100% at this point is not the same as everybody else's because he's old. He's got so many miles on his legs because of the playoffs, the Olympic international play, regular season, everything, you know. So I think he'll come back, but next year's got to be the last year. HDG Ball Out says, do you think that 2K16 should add different arenas, gyms, and offline blacktop mode where players can wear street clothes? Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is cool, definitely. I'm not a street ball gamer at all, really. I don't really even like those modes that much because they always have them doing crazy, ridiculous 467-degree dunks and all this kind of stuff. I don't really feel it. But I do think, you know, anything that expands the feature set, I'm all for that, you know. HDG Ball Out says, do you think that EA will ever make another NBA Street game? Obviously, you like street games, I'm saying, but it's cool. It's cool. For next-gen consoles. Have a great day. You too, bro. I think NBA Street would be a good thing for EA to come out with, because the street ball market is something that like 2K doesn't have a lockdown on. So doing that might actually be a cool thing for them to carve a little bit of a niche there, but we don't know if that'll happen or not. HDG Ballada also says, what are your thoughts on Jacques Vaughn? Magic fans are blaming him for all of the losses this year. Well, it's still a very young team. You know, I think he's done a pretty decent job. They compete, which is always the first thing you look at. Nikola Vucevic has turned into really one of the top 3-4 big men in the NBA. They also have some injuries with Aaron Gordon, but Elfrid Payton's got to get a jump shot. I mean, he has everything else. He's got to get a jump shot and some kind of a comb. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Chris Typhoon says, who's a better player, Nikola Pekovic or the man I just talked about, Nikola Vucevic? Nikola Vucevic is a better player. Pekovic is a good player. I mean, he is fit. I think Nikola Pekovic might be the single strongest strongest man in the NBA. I don't know that for a fact. I have no kind of numbers to back that up with or whatever. Just looking at him and the way he moves and plays on the inside when he's healthy, I don't know if there's anybody that's stronger than that dude. But Vucevic's a better player. I mean that. Have you seen him this year? I mean, you can't really do nothing with him. He is a beast. So I think he's the better player. Jalen Cook, another of the consistent Ask FPers. I appreciate all of y'all. What are your thoughts on DMI Games getting the NASCAR game license and releasing the game in 2016? I like it. I'm not against you technics, but I think that the whole license for NASCAR games, which I actually play those fairly regularly. You guys can kind of tell from my from Throwback Thursday. But I think it needs a fresh start, you know, something that actually accentuates the chase a little bit more. I don't think that gets pushed enough. Jake Pagliaro says, how do you think the Auburn Tigers will do next season since they got a new defensive coordinator, Will Muschamp? I think Auburn is on there is still one of the better programs, obviously, in the SEC. Last year they really took a thumping because defensively their team let them down. So I don't know whether or not, you know, that's going to be the answer. Usually to turn a defense around, you need a couple year difference of recruits. But obviously, you know what, Auburn got some horses, so perhaps the coaching will change, but it's too early to tell. Shamar says, hey, how's it going? How you doing, bruh? Do you think Mayweather will accept Pacquiao's fight offer? Love the channel recently. I appreciate it. Thank you. I do. May 2nd, they're going to fight. May 2nd, they will fight. I know nothing has been said officially and all that, but in my opinion, May 2nd, they're going to fight. So I remember somebody asked me, "Do you think I should book my tickets?" Yes. I would be surprised out of my mind if they don't fight on May 2nd. Shamar says, "Do you think there will ever be a player who will surpass MJ, Michael Jordan? And if so, what do they need in their game to do it?" Well, in my personal opinion, LeBron is close there. He's right in the same category. LeBron needs rings to do it. Because as far as his game, I mean, you know, on-ball defender, excellent. Rebound, excellent. I mean, you know, people have been putting up some gifs about him missing defensive assignments or whatever. But overall, on-ball defender, excellent. Rebounder, excellent. Scorer, excellent. Passing, excellent. I mean, he don't really have a lot of weaknesses. So I think he's the closest thing. Jalen Cook says, "Do you think EA will add NHL All-Star skill competition in a future NHL game?" They better. They better pay people back for what they didn't put in this last one. I mean, on the real, because there was a lot of stuff missing in the last NHL game. So they're going to have to do something. So we don't know what they're going to do, but they got to do something. So I think an all-star skill competition would actually be pretty cool. Could almost kind of double as like a tutorial thing. Hunter says, "What software do you use for your YouTube vids?" Well, I use a couple of them. I use, of course, the Elgato machine, so they obviously has its own capturing software and all that. But I do my rendering in CyberLink Power Director. A lot of people use Sony Vegas. Some people use Final Cut. Some people even use iMovie. I used to use iMovie, and I've used Sony Vegas and Final Cut before. But I kind of found my little groove with Power Director. I don't know. I'm just probably weird and different, like to use different stuff that other people don't use. And, you know, so that's what I use. Sports Talk. If for whatever reason Chicago sports teams disbanded, what teams, if any, would you root for? Ooh, that'd be tough, wouldn't it? But I would say in the NFL, I've always, for whatever reason, I've always loved the Dallas Cowboys. Ever since I was little, I loved the Dallas Cowboys. In baseball, oh, that would be tough. That would be tough. I don't know. I mean, wow. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the Yankees. I would probably, yeah, because I do like the Yankees. I respect the Yankees. In NFL, in basketball, oh, that's real tough. That's real tough. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Probably the Lakers, probably. I can't even tell you, but that's probably what it would be. The Great Patriot's back. He says, "Should Josh Gordon be cut, and should he be allowed in the NFL?" Well, I'm not going to say he shouldn't be allowed in the NFL. Like, that's your job. You popped. You made too many mistakes. But should he be cut? Yeah, I do. Sometimes when people continue to do things and mess up, you have to allow them to hit rock bottom so that they can get themselves together. And I think he's at that place. Shamar says, "Okay, so I've looked all around, but I never quite get it. Why did MJ, Pippen, and Rodman leave Chicago after the 6th title?" Well, Jerry Reinsdorf decided to pull the plug on the dynasty. He didn't want to pay them to come back again. Some people really beat him up for that, but I kind of don't, because a general manager, owner, whatever, has to know when to say, "I'm going to get out early," as opposed to waiting too long, because some people hate it when you wait too long, right? So I don't beat him up as bad. It didn't really work out because the Bulls were bad for a while after that. So Trevor Allen says, "Thoughts on the backlash of Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble?" I would probably need more than 40 seconds to explain this to you, or how I feel about it. But I think it's crazy. You know, I think Daniel Bryan fans are like ruining the WWE, and I know a bunch of y'all just punched y'all computer or whatever, phone or whatever. But I really think just this whole throwing a tantrum every time your guy doesn't win just is crazy, man. Roman Reigns needs to work on his mic skills for sure. But come on, man. I mean, how many perfect WWE superstars are there? None, pretty much. Trevor Allen also says, "Do you think that the triple threat match is an early candidate for match of the year?" Absolutely. It was awesome. Seth Rollins is banana cakes. I mean, the Phoenix Splash, several of the acrobatic reversals he did, the leap from the top rope, elbow on top of Brock on top of the table, crazy. And you know what? People can say whatever they want to say, but somehow John Cena keeps finding a way to be a part of great matches. What about that? Trevor Allen also says, who do you got Saturday, Diaz or Silva? Normally this would just be Silva quick, bam, just like that. But there is the question. I mean, he's 39, coming off of major injury. We don't know how that's going to affect him mentally and physically. I'm still going to pick Silva, but just not with as much confidence as I would have if were this not the situation. But Silva's still my pick. Next up, I got Jalen Cook. Trevor Allen is another one, but Jalen Cook is another consistent Ask FP'er. Appreciate you. He says, do you think the Cubs will go to the World Series in the future? Yes. You said in the future, you didn't narrow it down. Like you meant like before Jesus come back, I guess is what you mean. Yes, I do believe it. I do believe the Cubs will win the World Series. I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. Yes, I believe that. Y'all can get mad, kick your feet out, whatever, bite your tongue, whatever you want to do. Get one of them popsicle sticks and put it in your mouth so you don't swallow your tongue. Cubs are going to win the World Series within the next 4 years. I said it. Watch it. And Anthony Valorio says, will you make Kobe in his prime in the Ultimate Legends roster? I can't. I did that already, Tony. I think I put that what was that, about 3-4 episodes ago? Now it could be that the one that I made didn't look nothing like him, so you didn't pay no attention. You was like, oh, that ain't Kobe, that's somebody named Daryl. No, it was actually Kobe, and I did put him in there already. So the roster's gonna actually have 3 Kobes: old rotator cuff Kobe, Afro Kobe, and my Kobe, which may not even look like him, but whatever. Anthony Valorio also says, when will you start to see? Well, I kept this one because it has a second part of it that's not repetitive. So I already talked about the draft class, but he says, what are my thoughts on Odell Beckham Jr. playing the season with 2 hamstring tears? Man, I don't know about that one, I don't know about that one, dog. I mean, yeah, it shows absolute toughness, and oh my God, and the season he had with 2 hamstring tears. But you're a young man. Don't hurt yourself. Tear yourself up. You only play this game for a short period of time. I don't know that. I'm just, he's just blessed that he didn't hurt himself more. Jordan Newhook says, do you think that the Raptors can make it to the finals this year? If not, then what do they need to do to get there? I don't think they're quite ready for the finals yet. I think they need a better player at power forward. Amir Johnson is kind of like a bench player to me. I think he's a very valuable bench player, but I think power forward is the spot where they could actually get better. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, we got my man M Hype saying, this is the last question of the episode. It says, do you believe that Rollins is going to be Roman Reigns' Stone Cold? Being Roman Reigns' Stone Cold, I don't know about that. I think he's somebody's Shawn Michaels. I don't know about his Stone Cold. Seth Rollins reminds me of most of anybody else that is any other legend that's ever been. He reminds me a lot of Shawn Michaels. Roman Reigns, I don't know who he reminds me of. Not really anybody I can think of. He's got to get better on the mic. That's for sure. Because that believe that is just not. I don't never believe it. Whenever he says it, I just don't believe it. Believe that. I don't do it. I don't believe it yet, Roman. So, yeah. So I don't know. He's got to work. Got to do some work. But I'm not mad. He won the Royal Rumble. I mean, really. I mean, who else was going to win it? Zack Ryder or somebody? Come on. Deal with it. Get yourselves together. I appreciate y'all watching. Subscribe. Leave a like. Peace.